So I got around to watching Onward, and something I immediately noticed was that the dynamic between the brothers in this movie is a blatant ripoff of 2002's Orange County. Come on, you remember Orange County. Jack Black, Colin Hanks, two brothers on a road trip. They're very different, a lot like this movie. I did a tad bit of research and I discovered that the writer of Onward was 25 years old when Orange County came out. I'm thinking that that's when the old seed was planted, you know? And yeah, Pixar can fool these kids that don't know what Orange County is, but you can't fool me. You can't fool me. A lot of you motherfuckers, watch out. I have to talk to the hand. So two brothers find themselves in possession of their dead father's magic staff, and with that staff comes a spell to bring their father back for one full day. Naturally, something goes wrong, and they're only able to bring back the bottom half of their dad. So now they gotta go on a quest to get a Maguffin to bring back the top half of their dad before the 24 hours runs out. And shit gets meh. Let's talk about Tom Holland. Tom Holland plays Ian. He's your stereotypical high school loser that is very shy and doesn't have any friends. He's also the stereotypical chosen one that's supposed to relate to the audience. His dad was gone when he was very small, so he never really got to meet his dad, so this is the driving force to follow his idiot brother on this quest. How was Tom Holland's voice acting? I thought it was fine. I personally have issues when mainstream actors do voice acting, but I'm gonna touch on that later. Tom Holland was fine. Chris Pratt plays Barley. Barley is that idiot fuck-up older brother stereotype. His character had funny moments, but I couldn't help but notice that I've seen this type of shit in other movies. Fine. This character is obsessed with a D&D type game of this world, and he is an expert on magic and spells and shit like that, just from this game. I guess in a fantasy world with elves and dragons and wizards and shit, D&D could be looked at more historically, more factual, if you will. That's how he sees it anyway. Unfortunately, because this character somehow knows everything about magic, this makes him walking, talking exposition. He just makes everything too easy for Tom Holland's character because he has an explanation and a solution for all the magic in the movie. And having all the knowledge for random spells and magic limits Tom Holland's character for growth. I'm sorry, but I thought Chris Pratt overdid it on the voice acting. It was just too much. He needed to tone it down a bit. His character is a fun stereotype, but he's still a stereotype. The other two stand-up characters in this movie, which I was actually more interested in, were the boy's mom and a motherfucking manticore. They had their own little quest to go after their own MacGuffin, but I was into it. I could have used a lot more of those two characters in this movie. They were fun. Okay, the last 10 to 15 minutes of this movie is phenomenal. Phenomenal. The whole movie is worth seeing just for how it ends. I also found that a lot of small details in this movie were very clever and the animation was great. Pixar animation should be the best. In this movie, it was. I also very much loved the fairy biker gang. Give me a spin-off movie of that, please. And that's pretty much all that I really liked. This is a Pixar film. I have very high expectations for Pixar, and this movie did not meet those expectations for me. I found myself very surprised with the stereotypes and the cliches used for most of the movie. This is a modern world of fantasy with fairies and elves. Ever hear of the movie Bright from 2017? I noticed some similarities there. Bright did it better. I feel like this writer had this great idea for the end of the movie and worked his way backward and filled in the blanks with stereotypical shit that the audience can reference from other movies. As the movie went along, I just kept noticing things where I go, hey, wait a minute, wasn't that from this other movie? And that took me out of this movie. Like the effect that they used for the top half of the dad's body. That type of humor is pulled directly from Weekend at Bernie's. I thought that was the funniest shit in the movie, but that's Weekend at Bernie's humor. Weekend at Bernie's is from like 1989, yo. I know the kids aren't gonna notice, but I fucking noticed. The voice acting really bothered me. I don't like when animated movies use celebrity actors for the voices. I get it. It's easier to market a movie when you've got a well-known celebrity attached to it. But actual voice actors do a better job, and that makes a better product in the end. Do you know any of the actors that did the voices in Coco? Probably not. And did it make a difference to you that you didn't know any of the actors in Coco? Didn't think so. And is Coco way better than Onward? Yeah. Hey, maybe I'm being too hard on this movie. But this is Pixar, man. Inside Out was one of the most creative and heartfelt movies I've ever seen. Coco was one of the most creative and heartfelt movies I've ever seen. Those two movies gave me this wondrous, imaginative feeling for the entire runtime. This movie gave me that for like 10 minutes. I just thought that the product that they had could have been better with a more imaginative script. I wanted more, I expected more. Should you watch this movie? Yes. But don't expect it to be a Pixar caliber film. I'd say it's more along the lines of like a DreamWorks movie. Oh, subscribe!